Okay. Good evening to everyone. Thanks for joining in. This is session 2 of Reflect on and Improve Own Professional Practice CHCPRP003. So in our last session, we looked at the importance of self-reflection in professional settings and discussed some strategies for evaluating our own strengths and also looking at the areas of improvement as well. Today, we will look at building on that foundation by looking at other practical approaches to ongoing professional development, feedback implementation, and ethical decision making in our practice. So, again, the key areas that we will be looking at from last week, this week, and next week are things like the role of continuous improvement in professional practice, gathering and responding to feedback, and this involves constructive feedback from colleagues, your supervisors, and clients, provided that provides insights into your own performance. Also looking at setting and reviewing professional goals, so things like setting SMART goals. We'll be looking at that today, and I'll also talk a little bit about that in the recorder session as well that will be sent out to you tomorrow, hopefully. Engaging in professional development as well, and ethical consideration and self-care. So during the duration of this unit, the 3 sessions will be hopefully last week and including this today and next week, we'll be exploring how continuous reflection and professional development contributes to growth and ethical practice. So moving forward, I hope you guys can challenge yourselves to actively engage in reflective practices in your own work places, seek feedback, and implement strategies that enhance your effectiveness in your own jobs. Okay. Okay, session 2. So before we keep going, I just want to show recognition for the traditional owners of the land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, Hattah Institute of Education acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and the connection to land, sea, and community. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the first inhabitants of this nation and the traditional custodians of the land on which we work, live, and study. We express our gratitude for the sharing of this land, our sorrow for the personal, spiritual, and cultural costs of that sharing, and hope that we may move forward together in harmony and in the spirit of healing. We pay our respects to all First Nations people and acknowledge elders past, present, and emerging. Okay, so during today's session and also during the recorder session that will be sent out to you tomorrow, these are the 2 areas we'll be looking at. So the first part is development plans and then self-care. So when it comes to development plans, as professionals, as you would know, continuous learning and self-improvement are key to maintaining high standards of practice. Development plans provide a structure or a structured approach to identifying goals, tracking your own progress, and ensuring that we continue to grow both personally and also professionally. So here, we'll be looking at the importance of self-assessments in identifying areas of growth, explore how to set SMART goals, so specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. We'll look at ways to seek and utilize feedback from our supervisors, our colleagues and peers, and also our clients. We'll look at identifying professional development opportunities such as training, mentorship, and networking, and also creating an individual development plan that align with career aspirations and workplace expectations. So a well-structured development plan not only enhances your ability to provide high quality support to your clients, but also increase your confidence and your job satisfaction as well. And the other area we'll be looking at this week is self-care. Now, we touched on this last week. In high pressure roles, like in mental health facilities or mental health settings. One second, guys.
Okay, drink. Drink. Wait, I was.
Please.
I was.
There we go. All right. All good. Sorted. All right. So the self-care. So again, in high pressure roles like mental health settings, self-care is often overlooked, yet it is very important for maintaining resilience and professional effectiveness. Now, things like burnout, compassion fatigue, and stress can significantly impact your well-being and your ability to support your clients. So in this area, we'll be looking at things like exploring the connection between self-care and professional performance, identifying common workplace stresses and strategies for maintaining them or managing them. We'll discuss practical self-care techniques, including mindfulness, exercise, setting boundaries and time management, and also developing a self-care plan. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna put a link on the chat group now, on the chat. One second. All right. All right. So there's a link there which will take you to a self-assessment. It's a tool for self-assessment. So by the end of it, it'll give you an idea of what kind of learning style you might possess. So I'll give you guys 10 minutes to go through that. I just checked the link, so it does work. And end of it, we'll come back and we'll discuss it. Okay, so I'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Have a go at that test, and we'll talk about it when you come back.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, if you're still going with the test, keep going. I will just start with the ones who have finished it, and if you guys want to put your hands up and discuss what you found or what came up. Mickey?
Actually, my result. Can you hear me first?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, that's great. So my results actually come quite a surprise because I'm kind of like very evenly distributed. So I'm 35% of auditory, 30% of tactile, and 35% of visual. So in general, I'm more like a auditory and a visual learner.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you like learning styles from each aspect of auditory, tactile, and
Yeah,
visual. Um,
yeah. My
yeah.
tactile, I think tactile is 30%, so the rest are another two is 35. Yeah.
Mm,
But I think in our study materials, there should be have 7 learning styles.
yeah,
So actually, it's got a more like details in depth when
that's right.
you, yeah,
Yeah, there'll be more information in your learning style, learning guides. Yeah.
that's right.
Um, yeah, all good. Monica?
I found that mine was very evenly spread as well. It says that I'm visual, mainly, but it was only by like 5% here and there. I think that also reflects on me personally. Like I love doing art and expressing myself through picture as well as writing. So I do absorb information in different ways.
Okay, thank you. Tony?
Mine was different because I didn't actually think I was like this, but I was 50% auditory 40% tactile, and 10% visual.
Okay. What do you think you were going to be?
Well, because I've done the assessment with the other learning styles, and it does make sense of the auditory and tactile because I'm actually a social learner.
Okay.
So yeah, the visual stuff doesn't seem to stay in my head.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All good. Who we got next? Jody?
Yeah, mine was 40% auditory, 40% visual, 20% tactile. So that it pretty much resonates with my learning style. So
Okay, good.
that was good. Yeah.
Awesome. Karen?
I got 45% visual, 25% tactile, and 30% auditory.
Okay. Did you think that was pretty close to how you feel?
Was there another one I could have thrown in the mix?
I think there is about 7 styles, but these are the 3 main ones. Yeah. But do you think that's pretty accurate?
Yeah, I like to learn by doing,
Okay. Yeah.
which is interesting because that would be tactile, I would have thought, which is my
Uh,
lowest score.
yeah, that's right. Tactile is by physical interaction, role playing, experiments,
Mm.
real work applications. So yeah. But I guess visual learning and auditory learning could also be part tactile as well. So when you're getting work experience, you obviously have to listen and watch while you're learning as well. So it is a bit they do sort of cross over as well. Yeah. Um, Aaron.
Yeah, so I had 35% auditory, 20% tactile, and 45% visual.
Okay.
I would have thought the tactile would be higher myself as well, but yeah.
Yeah. Again, yeah, they'll all cross over
Hmm.
as well. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a cabinet maker.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
yeah.
I always sort of thought of myself as more of a, like, I generally learn better when I'm doing it.
Mm,
Um, and probably also if I'm doing something for the first time, like sort of being shown how to do it as well,
yeah.
rather than just someone talking it at me, I guess.
Okay. So
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentations and all that sort of stuff doesn't really interest you much?
Uh, it doesn't interest me too much. I can still learn from it, and will do, but yeah, I think I'm more of I've always been sort of more of a hands-on person anyway, so maybe that's just what I think about myself.
Yeah. That'd be interesting how that came up. Yeah. Anyway, thanks.
Yeah.
Alona.
I'm 50% visual, tactile 15%, auditory 35%.
Do you think that's accurate?
I love the visual, but wish there is like I love also being alone, like I like to learn in my own solitude because I like to figure out the solution, but it's not in here anyway. So,
Mm,
but mainly I like the visual because I love to interpret what the means of color, like say even in art, what is the message of the artist? What does it really mean of every color? If it is like it gives happy or it is sending a message of depression or it's sending a message of pain. So that's I like that kind of a thing.
okay. Thank you. All right. Martin?
Yeah, mine was something similar to the rest there. 40% visual, 30% oral, and 30% tactile. I think I would agree with what Aaron said. My background as well would be all in construction and like aesthetics in hotels and things like that. So going around doing defects and things. So a lot of what I would do is all by sight. So I get the visual part, but as far as training and practice goes, it's hands-on. It's learn by doing, if you know what I mean. But looking at some of those questions, there was a lot of answers that you could have put in, that weren't in those bullet points. So I can see where the visual and a 30% oral would come from as well, because they go hand in hand with one another.
Okay, thank you. Mahalia?
So I got auditory was 35%, tactile 20%, and a visual as a 45%. So I'm more of a visual learner, which, yeah, is pretty much me, but also what Martin said about I'm very also hands-on. I like the hands-on experience. I learn better that way. I find going through courses and stuff, but yeah, I like the hands-on stuff. I learn a lot more.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone, sorry to interrupt, how do I put my hand up here? I'm looking at the bottom list here and all I've got is audio, video, participants, chat, and more, and leave.
So do you see the little love heart at the bottom that has react?
No, I don't have that on my screen.
Probably in more.
Right, I go to more, okay.
Because there should be a button that says react.
Oh, okay, I do see it. It's in more. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's all right.
Hold on, mate. Edward, did you want to?
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm confused about what I got, because also another thing is I was confused about how to answer some of the questions, because some of the answers didn't specifically align with me, as well as for some of the other questions I could have answered with 2 answers. So I wasn't completely sure about how to answer, and I got 45% auditory, 30% tactile, and then 25% visual, which I understand in some way, because when I have conversations with people, I don't remember what they look like. I don't remember like what they do. I remember what we talk about more. And I don't know if that's specifically because I learn easier with auditory, or it's because I just genuinely in general like conversations. So I don't know if that's I don't know if that's how I learn stuff better, because typically I'm more of a tactile learner. Like I love doing stuff with my hands. And if I get taught how to do something once and I get to use my hands while doing it, most like 90% of the time it stays with me. So I'm confused about how I got 45%.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's not 100% science, so
yeah, it's just like a quick quiz.
But like I said before, a lot of the learning styles overlap each other.
Yeah.
So with visual and auditory, there is that element when it comes to tactile learning as well.
Yeah.
So for example, if you were learning woodwork, your instructor would obviously show you visual and speak to you, which will cover auditory as well. So you got that both elements in that as well. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Paul?
Well, I don't understand how the result was. They said 45% visual, 45% audio, and 10% tactile. But I'm a hands-on guy, always have been. You show me properly once in front of me, and 9 times out of 10, I won't forget it.
Yeah. A lot of you guys are saying the same thing. They use mainly tactile. So, you guys are learners that retain information best through hands-on activities and movements. You prefer physical interaction, role-playing experiments, real-world applications, for example, hands-on practices like building a model or performing an experiment, maybe writing things down to reinforce memories is an example. So yeah, it is interesting that some of you's got results that highlight the other areas, but like I said, what I've been saying is with tactile learning, the auditory and visual learning is also part of that as well. So they pretty much all overlap each other, all the learning styles, or most of them do anyway. So that's probably why you're seeing a mixed result after the assessment test. Yeah. Sam?
Yeah, so I got 30% auditory, 15% tactile, and 55% visual. So I feel like that's kind of in line with what I thought, but I realized that the questions that they ask and the answers, they all fall under one or the other. So it's basically you just pick one and then it goes towards
your
score at the end. So it's pretty simple. As Nikki was saying before, there are like 7 different learning styles. So I'm not sure how you would make a test for that one, but it'd probably be the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. There are up to 7 learning styles. Yeah, thanks for that. Aaron.
Yeah, was just gonna say, like, that's sort of why I want to sort of try and get into the field in some sort of way sooner rather than later, because I know that I'll learn a lot more just sort of being there and learning in person sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, work experience and learning on the job is probably the best knowledge you're gonna get.
Yeah.
In learning a particular field. Yeah, it's all good that you guys are here doing, your qualification in mental health, but I always tell students and even my workers in my other role, the best way to learn something or have knowledge about something, perform in a real life situation. So yeah, Mickey.
Yeah, I think like for the test we have done, like it's may not like showing the true self, like the true self of us, because firstly only 20 questions. So from statistic like aspect, it's not really that that many questions can really like truly reflect what kind of learning style you are. So I guess we can use that as a like how to say, just as a measurement, but don't use that as a like something you should look at yourself and, oh, this is very different from what I was thinking. It's just like for 20 questions, maybe it's kind of offer a little bit foundation of our learning style, but I think on the top of that, there are a lot of variations along with our like a career path. But one thing I think I totally agree with you is like no matter how much we can learn, like in the battlefield, right? Like for example, I can learn how to fight, I can know how to like use a gun to shot. But if I have never been in the battlefield, doesn't matter how much knowledge I learn from the book or the video, when I'm literally in the battlefield, it's totally different like a game compared to what you've seen from the movie or learn from the books. So I think it's just very important to put whatever we learn into practice to say whether that's true in life. Because sometimes it just could be theoretical. If it's possibly, it's just not gonna be practical in real life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I like that last part you said, like you're gonna learn more if you're in the front line, actually doing the role. That way you're gonna gain experience and experience, the motivation and the confidence in what you're doing. And that way you're gonna learn new skills and build on the skills that you already have. Also have the ability to work on the areas that you need improvement on as well during them real life situations as well. And everything else is a bonus. So all the learning that you do here and all the learning that you'll do later on in life is just a bonus that will add on to your expertise as a mental health practitioner. Alona?
Of course, it's really different with like so-called lived experience. Because not only as a basic or foundation of knowledge, but then it's also another advantage when you're getting on or getting into the job or working in a workplace that because every time, every situation is different, and every situation has a different challenge. But if had been through a really difficult self-challenge, then it will the life experience will also give us the tool, or us using it to equip of facing the challenge.
Okay, thank you. All right, thanks, guys. All right, so let's do a bit of a wrap up now of the learning styles. So understanding how we learn best is important for your own professional development. So there are three main types of learning, like we've discussed: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So each person has a unique way of processing information, and identifying your own style will help you improve how you absorb and apply new knowledge. Now, you don't have to put yourself or label yourself as a visual learner, auditory learner, or kinesthetic learner. As long as you know, there's going to be aspects of each style that you like, that you prefer. So just because you like one part of visual doesn't make you a complete visual learner. So you can, of course, be a visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learner as well. It's just how you feel about that tool. So when it comes to visual learners, they usually learn best through images, diagrams, charts, and written instructions. Now, personally, I don't like diagrams, but I don't mind written instructions. So that's an example of someone who's a visual learner, but doesn't like everything about visual learning. Also, visual learners usually prefer reading materials, watching videos, or using mind maps. They also usually benefit from color coding and visual organization. Now, when it comes to auditory learners, they learn best from listening, discussions, and verbal explanations. They prefer podcasts, lectures, or group discussions, and they also benefit from reading aloud or using other devices as well. And when it comes to kinesthetic learners, they learn best through hands-on experiences and movements. They prefer things like role plays, physical demonstrations, or using real-life examples, or learning at the job. They benefit from taking notes actively or applying learning into practice. Okay. So just a question for the group. So how can knowing your own learning style help you improve your professional skills? What do you think? How could that benefit you by knowing your learning styles, or your staff or your colleagues knowing their learning styles, and how would that improve them in the professional setting? Aaron?
Well, for me, it would be sort of getting involved in it in general, I think, in more of a physical way, and or just being there, and yeah, basically sort of just jumping into it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it enhances efficiency as well, gets everyone involved, gets everyone interested in what they're doing. So individuals can tailor their own learning methods, so they're able to retain and recall information more effectively. So
yeah, and I think I also like sort of reviewing afterwards as well, just sort of reviewing what I've sort of learned in that process, and
good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's cool. That's self-evaluation. So that's a big part of professional development as well. So people who are able to review and ask for feedback and analyze analyze what they just did, they're the ones that usually what do you call it, improve professionally as well. So that's good. Jody?
Sorry, yeah, I was just going to say about the efficiency and productivity. So with my team, I lead a team of 30, and
Wow.
usually we do a few assessments to identify some things. And obviously with the kinesthetic, we work on mind mapping sessions. So they love just getting a big piece of butcher's paper and we mind map everything. Whereas with the auditory, we work with the sounds and listening, because we're training on medical portals. So everyone learns differently. Everyone learns at their own pace. And it just helps when you identify, obviously, the efficiency and productivity, because the learning then is settled with each individual learner. So exactly what you said, I was going to say too.
Excellent. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for that. Also boosts confidence as well by
Yeah,
doing it.
absolutely. Yeah.
When you learn in a way that suits you or
Yeah.
suits your staff, they gain the confidence in their own abilities.
Yes.
Will go a long way in productivity and all that
Yes.
stuff. Thank you. Yeah. I think Edward was next. Yeah. Oh, is it Martin? Sorry.
Martin can go. That's all right.
Yeah, and just on that, there's a YouTube video there, guys, that it's part of the module here that I just had a look at yesterday, and it's about these learning styles. And pretty much it goes back to what we've just been talking about, that you may prefer one style of learning, but to be really good at what you want to do or what you want to be, you would cross over like the visual, the oral and the tactile. And one of the examples she gave was if you wanted to be playing, like, let's say American football, I think she used, it's a very technical game to learn. So one part would have to learn about all the plays. Another part would be to go and watch YouTube videos, but another part would be to go and actually play the game. And by combining all of those three, you would pick up different aspects of it, and obviously be better for it.
Yeah. So that 100%. So it's all about also improving adaptability. So knowing your style will help you adapt when learning new skills or learning new ways to learn things or working with different training material. So an auditory learner might benefit from discussions, whilst a kinesthetic learner might prefer hands-on training, or they might prefer a bit of both. Edward, did you have a hand up?
Yeah, I had my hand up. I was just gonna say, if it's for was it co-workers and whatnot, it's important to know, and as for yourself, to know what type of style it is that that best suits you for when you need to understand something or learn something. It's incredibly important to understand not only yours, but if it's in like a very what's it called, team, like a high team effort and team working sort of job, then you need to know what their styles are, because if there's specific like presentations that you need to do, or things that you need to set up, or events that you need to set up for them to understand specific things, or if you're going to something different, then you need to have those things set up prior and understand their styles prior, so that you can prepare. Because, for example, if you have an entire team that's tactile and then you set up like a 40-50 minute presentation, probably most of them aren't going to focus on it. Either that or they won't understand most of it. But if you have like a 2-minute, 5-minute presentation, and then you say, okay, we're going to go out such and such to actually work on it so then you can understand, then, so you need to have those specific styles not only memorized, but also like well understood, and also your co-workers' styles understood, so then you can prepare for those things and not have to rush everything on the spot, so then not everyone's having to stress as well as causing you stress as well.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for that. So I guess understanding different learning styles, like you said, can improve the teamwork as well by recognizing how everyone around you, your colleagues, best process the information.
Yeah, and it also shows them that you're actually paying attention to the things that they do.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this will enhance communication and collaboration amongst the team.
Yeah.
Which will be better for productivity as well. Aaron.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I agree with Edward there. Like, I am a tactile sort of person, but I think if I can sort of know what the job is beforehand and sort of understand what needs to be done and learn about it in like even an auditory way or whatever, reading plans or whatever, and then going into doing it, then I'm going to do a lot better than, than without having done that first.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's move on, guys. Thank you for that. All right, mentorship in the workplace and specialist help. So mentorship plays a very important role in professional growth and career development. And if you ever find a good mentor, I would jump on them because there's very few of them around. So a good mentor provides guidance. They share their experiences and they help individuals navigate challenges in their workplace. Additionally to that, knowing when and how to seek specialist help is very important for you guys in ensuring professional success and workplace efficiency. Now, mentors provide guidance and support based on their experience. So so in terms of mental health, let's think about it in a mental health setting. It helps with, client interactions, skill building around building rapport, build professional confidence around client interactions, and also helps with career progression as well. Encouraging networking and exposure to new opportunities. They offer safe space for learning without any judgment, How do you seek specialist help when needed? So you got to be able to identify the specific challenges you need assistance with. So research available specialists, experts, or resources in your workplace or industry. You can consult your mentors, your supervisors, or even HR for referrals or to professionals. You can use professional networks, forums, or industry events to connect with the experts. And the next part there is research and discussion. What's that? Research and discussion activity on workplace mentorship. Okay, so I guess this is about researching different mentorship programs in your industry, discussing how mentorship has or can positively impact your career or someone that you know, and also reflecting on how you can become a better mentor or a mentee in your current role. Okay. Has anyone currently has a mentor or has had a mentor in the past that's really benefited them and can still remember the lessons that were taught from them? Paul?
I had a mentor in martial arts. He was a old man from the Vietnam War that took me under his wing after my instructor had taken me as far as he was prepared to take me, and I lived with this mentor for 12 months before he passed away, and he took me ahead in leaps and bounds just by having him around and having his knowledge at my disposal, so to speak.
Yeah, that's good. So what were the main lessons you learned from him, Paul?
Geez, there's too many, but the main one was always keep your integrity. Everything else will follow.
That's right, yeah.
Or another one he liked to say was lead as you mean to follow. How someone sees you at the start is how you are down the track. You don't deviate. You are who you are.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Rainey?
Yeah, I'm about to start a youth mentor program at one of the local high schools here. I'm trying to get through the modules on top of studies, so that'll be good.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so you're going to be a mentor?
Yeah, just for use at a school.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Pretty mad.
it would be. Yeah, it's a very rewarding what do you call it? A job, I guess.
Yeah.
To mentor and guide any person, not only young people.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Mickey, you're on mute, Mickey.
No, I just didn't unmute myself. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I used to have the working experience as a child educator, as I mentioned before as well. So before, as I also have two kids as well, so I definitely have a lot of putting assumption about like how to treat kids and how to bring up kids and when there's certain situation, how to like solve it based on the experience of being a mom. But when you are like in the childcare facility, when you work as a child educator, and then when you are facing multiple kids you don't have too much knowledge about, it's totally a different story. So I was lucky enough to have a mentor who's very, very fond of me. So he gave me a lot of like work experience, and for me, it's like those kind of sorry, like those advices are really golden time for me. So I used to be very frustrated when I was working in the very young kids, like you know, they're just like workers. It's like a little bit above like 1 year old to 2 years old room, right? And every time it was so like struggling for me to get them to the lunch table because they won't just listen. They will do whatever they like, at that time, child. Everyone thinks they're the boss. So it's everywhere. Everything's everywhere. And if I can't get them to sit at the same time on the table and get things started, it's just gonna delay everything. So I used to get a very like frustrated because I can't really stand um, from their angle and in their shoe to think, oh, how is the child psychology? So I think my mentor was very like observant and sensitive, not sensitive, sorry, very sensible as well. So after like he observed me for a while, he essentially feel my like struggling. So sometime after work he would tell me he would tell me by asking the question that, if that's the case, what you can do. So he gave me a lot of very useful tips to get things done. So on each stage of my work, he's helping me a lot. So and he's exposing myself in different aspects of the work as well. When it goes to, like say, the child law, the knowledge about the child law, and also the documentation of everything. So I was like a very thankful I had a mentor who's very supportive, not only physically and mentally, but also like very kind to share what he has like learned from this industry, like without reserving anything behind. So he's a very like a selfless. So that's why I was like very lucky and grateful for having a mentor like that.
Awesome. Yeah. So good mentors usually come alight when during uncertain situations. So we need guidance in uncertain situations. So when people feel lost or unsure, they look for someone who can provide clarity or some sort of direction. Mentors help people to navigate through uncertain situations or difficult tasks, personal challenges, and decision making, like you said. They also are very good at encouragement and support. So mentors or good mentors provide reassurance, motivation, and a sense of security as well. And they act as a trusted advisor, especially during them difficult times. Marta.
Yeah, something similar. The mentor I had and still have, even though I haven't been in my place of employment in 4 years through injury, but he was and still is the director of engineering in a hotel here in Sydney. But he always said to me, just be accountable. You're going to be a team leader, be accountable. He said, lead with care. He was always big on ethics specifically. But his biggest thing, I think he said to me, was that mentorship is a two-way street. He will also, he said, he still to this day is still learning from the latest guys that are just gone into that business now. He's about 2 years left to retire, but he said until he turns the key the last day, he will still be learning. And the final thing I would add to that is he also said, if you enjoy what you do and what you work at, you will be good at it. And if you don't, like if you're going to work in the morning and you just have a long face and everything else, you won't enjoy it, you won't be good at it. So if you like what you do, you will succeed and you will be better.
Yeah, sounds like a very good mentor. Yeah. So what you were talking about, things like accountability and goal setting came to my mind. So mentors should keep mentees focused on their goals and help them track their own progress. And also they provide structure and motivation to push you forward as well. And they do that by role modeling. So they're not only telling you, but they're leading by example by doing what they preach as well. So that's really good. Aaron?
Yeah, I think probably my best mentors they're not necessarily been like for a long time ongoing, but probably a couple of counselors that I've had in my life. And just to help me with me. And yeah, and that's probably the biggest one that stands out, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. You know, some of the best mentors are the ones who can provide psychological safety and trust.
Yeah.
You know, people gravitate towards mentors who create a safe, a judgment-free space for you
Yeah.
to grow as a professional or as a human being, and they provide constructive criticism without fear of failure or any rejection as well. So it's good to have mentors with them traits as well. People that you can go to during the tough times and talk to them, you know, with confidence that, you know, it's going to stay in the room between you and your mentor is a good sign of a very good mentor. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. All right. Let's talk about constructive feedback. So we'll do it as a group. Yeah, we'll do it as a group now. So why do we think constructive feedback is so important? Edward.
It helps you understand what you need to work on, or what your team or what somebody else needs to work on in depth, as well as it not being any form of bias in any way.
Yeah, so you're being honest, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yasmin?
I don't know how to say this. I guess it's for myself, from experience, I've always learned more from people that have told me what I need to hear rather than what I want to hear. And I've found, and I've ended up respecting as well, whether it's, you know, a work situation or a friend situation or a relation. It's helped me through life, actually, you know, and I've been lucky enough to have people like that. My first boss, she was very direct, and like maybe in that moment that she told me what I needed to hear, I didn't like her very much, but as time went on, yeah, we're best friends now. So
Very good. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So it creates a growth mindset, like you were saying, encourages individuals to seek feedback as a chance to learn rather than treating it like a criticism. It promotes Also adaptability and resilience in facing challenges as well. Tony.
I just think critiquing in general makes a better either person or professional, either good or bad, you know, what you're doing right and things that need improving on.
Yeah, so encourages learning and growth. It does a lot of things, increases motivation and confidence, improves performance and productivity. As long as you take that,
It's not personal.
you don't take it personal, and you take
No.
it as feedback for personal, on a professional level. And also the person who's giving the message, got to be very careful as well. You don't want to give constructive feedback or feedback because you just like giving feedback. You got to give it because it's an
Necessary.
area of improvement
Yeah.
for the person that you've observed. So you got to, yeah, yeah.
Good.
Martin.
Yeah, I just think it's important, constructive feedback, whether it's negative or positive, to be honest. You know, if it's just feedback, like if you say to someone, job well done or job badly done, you know, you're giving them feedback, but you're kind of, it's a dead ball answer. But if you say, you've done a good job there because you had prepared for it last night, if there was a storm coming in and you took everything in from the outside or something like that, you know, you're giving them a reason that they won't have to do it again. Whereas if you just say job well done, you know, they think nothing of it. So I just think it's nice to give them a rap on the back if it's something they've done well. If something that they've done bad, they will learn from it. Like Tony said, you know, it's a lot of people will take feedback correctly. Obviously there will be a percentage that might go into a shell over it, but the only way you will learn really is by constructive feedback, whether it is positive or negative.
Yes, thank you, Martin. I thought that's a very good point. So even when somebody does something really well, it's very important to give them positive feedback, but also break it down to why you think what they did was effective or something good, because in their mind, they might have done something that's good, but you know, they're not thinking about the little things, the little elements. And if you break it down to break it down to them why you think what they did was really good and explain to them each aspect, and they'll be like, oh, okay, yes, that's right. And then when I come across that challenge again or that client again, that information will be retained in the back of their mind because of that feedback that you provided them, that positive feedback. Aaron.
Yeah, I think that they're both just as important, like as in positive or, you know, negative feedback in general that is constructive. But I think positive feedback is very important because well, you want to know, you want to be able to hear from other people that you're doing the right thing, and it's going to boost your confidence, and you're going to get even better at that in general as well, just by having that confidence, knowing that what you're doing is right.
Yeah, it improves performance and productivity by celebrating people's successes and talking about the things that they are good at. It highlights their strengths and gives them motivation and the willingness to continue on growing and becoming even better in them areas. And also, when you do provide constructive feedback or criticism to them, they're going to take that on board. They're going to say, okay, well, he knows what he's talking about. You know, and then you'll take that, the person that's getting that feedback from you will analyze that information and try to improve on them as well.
Yeah, and also sorry, and in a lot of cases as well, like in my sort of field of work in construction, like it's pretty common for, you know, it's a sort of mindset of, well, if you don't hear anything, then that's a good thing. But it's like you tend to hear about the negative things, but less about the positive things, because if you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah, that's in every workplace. Yeah. You only do something when you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. So it's very important to give feedback, positive and negative, when you see it. because it leads to better decision making as well. So it will help people to see different perspectives and also adjust their approach accordingly. Encourages critical thinking and also reflection on their own actions as well, which is very important. Bianca.
Basically what you just said, but also there's always new things that you can learn, and it can help you to better understand what's expected of you, because we're always learning, and you've got to be told in order to understand. And if you're told early and it's just a nice constructive criticism, then it's a lot better than finding out 2 years later.
That's right, yeah. The earlier the better, because if you don't tell them that issue or that that issue is just gonna evolve into something worse, and in 2 years' time, it might lead to something illegal or something that they can't reverse. So the earlier we tell someone, earlier we give someone feedback or constructive feedback, the better. Okay. Mickey.
Oh, sorry, because every time I take a little bit more time to unmute myself. Yeah, I think so the last one, like, I want to contribute is just related to what we actually have learned for the previous classes. I think like constructive advices can, like, to large like extent, can facilitate self, like, reflection. This, I think, because a couple for previously, I think this is what we were learning about like reflection. So if we can receive the constructive feedback from outside, I think this also kind of a way to facilitate the self-reflection. So we know, like, in which area we can improve and what's the like in which part we should emphasize on. So this is easier for us to better ourselves.
That's right. Yeah. So it's all about any feedback that's going to help you advance in your career by refining your skills is welcomed. It improves your personal relationships as well by enhancing communication and understanding. So the better you receive information, criticism, or constructive feedback, the better for you in the long run. So once you learn that skill of receiving feedback, which is very hard in the beginning, but once you start learning that and you turn it into a habit of receiving that information in a positive manner, the better it's going to be for you in the long run, for your own professional and personal development as well. Alona.
I would like to think as well, but it's when someone that I really trust of, and then giving me the constructive criticism, I always want to think that because that person's expressing concern or care towards me, and wants me to be, say for example, in one area that I need to enhance more my skills, and this person giving that constructive criticism because she wants me to thrive of what I'm doing. And also on my part, I want to be more open up in a more factual what can I say, factual situation, that rather than in my own understanding. And also in my on the other hand, I would also think that it's also another way of validation that I'm doing right.
Yes. That's right, yeah. It is a form of validation. Any sort of feedback is a form. It's either validation that you're doing something right, or it's giving you some reminders on the areas that you need to improve on, or
Yep.
just watch as well.
Yeah.
So it will lead to better decision making ultimately in the end, and it will help you prevent the bigger issues from occurring. So addressing them small concerns early on will prevent them from becoming bigger ones in the future.
Yep.
You know, which encourages accountability and responsibility in a non-threatening way.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Tony.
I was just thinking it also helps with your self-reflective practices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It really does, yeah. Any feedback, but mainly constructive feedback, is going to go a long way in developing your what do you
Just
call it?
yourself. Yeah.
Yourself, yeah. Your professional development, your personal development.
Yeah.
Because you know it's all good to highlight the areas that you are good at, which are good, and it's always good that you are looking to enhance them skills, or refine them skills that you are good at. But we're really looking at the areas that we want to improve, to because that's what professional development's all about, is to identify the areas that you can improve on and concentrate on them as well as bring them up to the same level as your strengths. Yeah, all right. Okay. I'll just talk a little bit more about this and then we'll take a break. All right, so constructive feedback, as we've been talking about, is a very important part of professional growth. So like you guys have been talking about, it helps people or individuals to refine their skills, improve their performance, and build stronger relationships in the workplace as well, because there's that two-way communication. Giving and receiving feedback effectively ensures that it is beneficial rather than discouraging. So providing and receiving feedback effectively is very important. So feedback should be clear, respectful, and with purpose. The goal here is to help someone improve, not to criticize them for the sake of criticizing them or putting them on a spotlight, you know. Both the giver and the receiver of information play an active role in making feedback productive as well. So the characteristics of constructive feedback, you can see there: specific, balanced, and actionable. So when it comes to the specific, this is about focusing on particular behaviors, actions, or results. For example, your report, for example, if a staff member's report, you give a criticism on a report that someone wrote, you could say your report was well structured, but adding more information or data analysis would strengthen your argument instead of saying your report was shit. And the next one there is balanced. So this is about including both positive, so what was done well in areas, and also the areas of improvement, which is what you'll hear a lot in a lot of workplaces today, because inclusiveness is very important in today's society. So when people usually give you feedback, they usually would start with something positive, and then they'll tell you what they really want to tell you, which is the area that they want you to work on. So an example of this could be, for example, your presentation was engaging, but using fewer slides could make it more concise. Okay. And the next one there is actionable. So this is about providing clear guidance on what can be improved. So this resonates more with me. So I like people who are straightforward, and this is how it is, instead of beating around the bush. So instead of saying you need to be more organized, you could say something like, try using a task list to prioritize your workload. So yeah, this specific and balance are good, but with me and probably some of you guys too, direct, actionable feedback is something that I prefer. So it's important that we encourage open, honest communication in the workplace. We've got to be able to normalize feedback as a learning opportunity, not a personal attack. And this takes time, especially for those who are new to starting any job or any work. Learning to receive feedback is a skill that you have to develop. It's not something you're going to do overnight. Some people might be able to, but a lot of people won't be able to, because it's a human nature. When you receive bad news or something negative, you take it as an attack on your honor or your personality or your integrity. So it's going to be hard when you're receiving information about your performance in the workplace as as a positive result. It's going to take time for you to change your mindset and turn that into a habit almost. When you are giving feedback, it's important that you do it in a timely manner, rather than waiting too long to give that information. Also, picking the right time as well is very important. It's important that you practice active listening when receiving feedback to understand and apply it more effectively. So if someone's talking to you and trying to share constructive feedback with you, it's important that you display active listening. So proper eye contact, good body posture, non-threatening, and open hands, things like that. Okay. Let's keep going. I just want to cover these slides before we have a break. Self-care. Look, we all know what self-care is, but I'll go through it quickly. So self-care in mental health is very important, or in human services is very important aspect of maintaining well-being, preventing burnout, and ensuring long-term success in both your personal and professional life. Because if you don't have proper self-care in your professional life, it will affect your personal life. Without a doubt, it will. From what I've seen, my observations in my role in government, I have seen it affect a lot of people's personal lives. People who don't have proper self-care or appropriate self-care in their workplace, it will affect your personal life in the long run. So often in demanding workplaces, self-care is overlooked, leading to stress, fatigue, and also reduced productivity. So self-care refers to the intentional actions that protect and enhance your physical, emotional, and mental health. It is about making deliberate choices to improve your well-being, rather than reacting to stress once it becomes overwhelming. So a good example of this was having a crappy day at work and going to the pub for a drink would be a reaction to stress. But a deliberate choice to improving well-being would be going to the gym after work to wind down, or yoga, mindfulness, meditation, running, cycling, anything that is beneficial for your health. Self-care is not a luxury, but it is something that we need for maintaining long-term professional effectiveness. Okay, so examples of this could be engaging in hobbies and creative art activities, taking breaks during work, exercising regularly, and practicing mindfulness or relaxation techniques. All right. All right, personal and professional growth. Okay, so self-development plan, setting goals and taking steps. All right, so this requires intentional planning and consistent efforts. A self-development plan provides a structured way to identify the areas that you need to improve on. It helps you set meaningful goals and take actionable steps towards achieving them goals. So whether you're looking to enhance your skills or advance in your career, or improve work-life balance. Having a clear plan will help you guide your progress or your journey. So steps to creating a self-development plan will include, as you can see on the screen, involve several key steps. The first one there is identifying areas for improvement, obviously. So identifying the areas that you need to improve on. So reflecting on your strengths and weaknesses, asking for feedback from mentors, colleagues, and supervisors like we've been talking about, and considering areas that align with your professional and personal aspirations. Next, then you would probably set some clear goals. So defining specific, measurable, and realistic goals, things that can be achievable. Ensure goals are aligned with long-term professional objectives. Okay. Then break down goals into smaller steps. So large goals can feel overwhelming. So breaking them down into more smaller, manageable, more achievable goals will increase the likelihood of success. And then we have reflect and review progress. So this is about regularly assessing how far you have come and what adjustments need to be made. Okay. All right, let's take a break now, guys. 7:20. We'll take a 10-minute break. So it's 7:20 Sydney time. We'll come back in 10 minutes, which will be 7:30 Sydney time. All right. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Now. All right. So, like we spoke about last week, we'll look at the role play. Okay. And what is expected in the role play. All right. So I'm just going to do a rundown on this, trying to explain it the best I can, and then I'll go through some. In the end, we'll have some questions in the end, and we'll talk. If you've got need clarification or anything, we'll talk then. So this role play simulates a feedback session between a community service worker, which will be you, and with your supervisor, which will be Monica. So it is designed to help you practice giving and also receiving feedback, like what we've been talking about during today's session. Also engaging reflective discussion and planning for professional improvement. So who plays each role? So you will be playing the role of the worker. So you'll be the one sharing your self-reflection and feedback. And someone else will play the role of Monica, the supervisor. So they could be a friend, a learner, or a family member, or one of the students in your own time. Or we will be doing it next week. I'm going to organize next week's session to do some role plays as well. And we'll talk about a bit more about that after we go through this. So a bit of a step-by-step guide for this role play. So when you start the meeting, you should greet Monica, obviously, your supervisor. Thank her for taking the time to meet you. So, but before we do this, so if you are doing this in your own time, if you're going to record in your own time, before you start recording, you would introduce yourself. So, for example, hi, my name is Cheyenne. I'll be doing role play for unit CHCPRP003. Reflect on and improve on practice. Task 3, role play. I'll be playing the support worker, and I'll be having a meeting with my supervisor, Monica. And then you just show your ID. This is my identification. And then you start. Okay. So usually you start meetings in real life scenarios by greeting each other. So, hi, Monica, thanks for taking your time for meeting me today. And then you start discussing feedback areas that you need to improve on. So here I would discuss the feedback that was given to you by a client. So reflect on the feedback you received, share what you learned from it, and discuss how you plan to improve based on that feedback. Okay. Then I would talk about what you feel and how you're doing in your role. Provide specific examples. So things like, you're good at building rapport, flexibility in site visits, speaking up in meetings and so forth. You can mention areas you find challenging, like paperwork, time management, or feeling emotionally drained. You can also, during this time, give feedback to your supervisor. Your supervisor should also be asking you questions. So maybe prepare some questions if you are doing it with a friend for them to ask you during the meeting. And I think I played the role play last week where I was asking questions to the other person. You can use them questions that I used. It's very important that the values, beliefs, and behaviors are discussed during that two-way feedback, that session with Monica. So you've got to reflect on how your personal values and beliefs align with the organization as well. You've got to discuss how these impact your work with the clients and also your colleagues in the workplace. You should also mention a current or emerging trend in community services that you have researched. Explain how you can apply this to your work and identify any professional development opportunities you would like. For example, some more training, case management, or time management workshops. Okay. Then you just wrap it up. Try to summarize the key points that were discussed, discuss any action or goals to move forward, and then thank Monica for her feedback and her guidance. Okay. So if you are doing this in your own time, make sure you record the role play as you need to upload it into the portal. You've got to keep it natural and conversational. It should not feel like you're reading off a script. So please do not read off a script. Your family member or your family friend or your friend or partner can read off a script. That's fine, but please don't read off a script because it more than likely will not suffice, and you'll have to do it again after it's marked. Okay, you can have notes in front of you to help you out, which is completely fine. But what we're looking at here during these role plays are the micro skills, and them skills include active listening, effective communication, body language, eye contact, and so on. Okay. These role plays will help you practice engaging in professional feedback sessions. So will help you practice, reflecting on your work and planning improvements based on feedback that is received. So I read this before, and some of the possible some of the positive points to discuss with Monica could be the strong rapport with the clients. This is according to the notes on the role play. So also the flexibility and adaptability. So according to the instructions there and the notes, you have adjusted well to the job demand, which includes site visits to client homes. You have been able to work independently despite this being your first professional position. You advocate for your clients, so you speak up for them. You have started managing your time better and asking for help when needed. And you have been improving at balancing different responsibilities and adjusting to the workload. Okay. Now, some of the challenges that you are facing or areas of improvement are one is the emotional drain and workload stress. So you have been feeling emotionally drained at the end of the day of the workday. You adjusting to the demands of the job has been very difficult, and you want to build some resilience around that. Keeping up with an administrative task has been challenging as well, and you want to find a better way to organize and manage documentation more effectively. Another challenge is limited connection with your colleagues, and the other one is client feedback on support needs. So the teenager that you are supporting might feel they need more consistency in your support. That is another area that was mentioned as well. Okay. So I hope that helps you guys a little bit in planning your role play. Do you guys have any questions? About the role plays? Okay, very good. All right, so next week, I'll run a session with you guys. So our last session for this unit, and during the last 2 hours, we'll do role play. So I'll take you guys to a breakout room, maybe 2 at a time. So 3 of us go to a breakout room, and I'll do the role plays with you guys in the breakout rooms. Okay. And if you don't want to do them, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to. There's no pressure. But if you do want to do them, next week will be your opportunity to get them done. Okay. Martin?
Yeah, do we use Zoom or WebEx to do these recordings? That's my only question on it, the technical side of it.
You can use either or. I find Zoom is probably the easiest platform.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can use either whichever one you want to record. Yeah. Rainy.
Yeah, just on the live role plays, how do we go about submitting them? Do you just send us a certificate of completion?
Yeah, so I will record them and I will provide you assessment feedback.
Right.
So I'll email them to you.
So then we can upload them on our portal.
Yeah, so you'll upload that into your portal and it'll have all my notes and also a copy of the video link.
Okay, all right, cool.
So I'll get your full name during the role play so I can send it to you. Okay. All good. Sam?
Yeah, so just to confirm, are we coming up with the line of questioning for Monica as well?
So if you're gonna do it with me next week, no.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll do that part. But if you're gonna do it in your own time, yes, you'll have to organize that on your own. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be here next week then.
Okay. Aaron.
Yeah, so is it either a recording that we do ourselves or we do it live with you?
Yeah, it's just the option next week. If you're ready, I'm more than happy to do them with you guys next week as well. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So there's 19 of yous here. And I think on average is about 19 anyway. So I'm pretty confident I can do all 19. Well, there's 16 now, but yeah, even if there was 19, I'm pretty sure I can do all that in 2 hours. So should not be a problem. Okay. But there's no pressure, guys. So don't freak out if you think I'm not going to force you guys to do role plays next week. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. Okay. The only problem is during that 2 hours, I wouldn't hang out here. I wouldn't hang out in the session because there won't be nothing to do because I'll be doing role plays. The first hour and a bit, I will run a session talking about the third session. But the other 2 hours, I will be doing role plays with you guys. Mickey?
Sorry, so this role play is a part of our assessment, like assignment in one of the unit?
Yeah, it's for this unit.
Okay, so sorry, I haven't finished my side. So okay, so the next week the role play is for the assignment of this unit, right? For Monica.
Yes. So Monica is your supervisor, yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I will probably read through the requirement of this assignment and then
or Mickey, just watch this recording. I just went through, I think about 5 or 10 minutes explaining the role play. So maybe just watch that part back.
Okay.
If you want, if you don't want to read it, you can do that as well. It's up to you.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. So anyway, I'll do that, and yeah, so I'll be attending the role play next week. So the role play session is gonna be a separate session from our online class, right? So it's gonna be a separate session.
No. So next week we'll start our session at 6 o'clock, like always.
Oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
I'll do the same thing. I'll go through. I'll have an hour 15 class, and then usually the second part of that class I usually go through assessments. But next week we'll be doing role plays.
Oh, okay, understood. So while you are doing, let's say, while you are doing role play with, let's say Sam and let's say Nona, let's say as one group, so the rest of us will be having. Can we like listening to you guys have the conversation, or we will be just like say wait in the queue?
I'm more than happy to do role plays in front of the whole group. It just depends on what the other guys feel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if they don't feel comfortable, I'll take them out to the breakout room. If they do feel comfortable, we'll just do it in front of the group.
Okay, so let's say like if anyone like don't like to disclose the session, you guys will do the breakout room. So for the meantime, let's say we're just gonna do whatever we want, isn't it? So
Yeah, you guys can talk
okay,
about
so okay.
Talk about assessments or other unit content.
Okay, got it. So it's like a free time for us.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All good. Tony.
I'm just wondering, Cyan, is this the actual scenario for this unit?
Yeah.
Because aren't we supposed to be playing Justin?
Justin?
Yeah, because I'm ready. This is my next assessment. Like
Is this the unit you're doing? CHCPRP003?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Justin's the name of the worker.
Yeah, which is a female because she's a smoker.
Task 3?
And
the client's the smoker, yeah.
Yeah, the client is a smoker.
Is it task 3?
Yes.
Okay. They must have changed it on me then.
It just that scenario doesn't like the email isn't clicking with me that's
Yeah.
No, it's all the same. I think it's just a bit more detailed when you go in to do your attempt, and then
let me just have
to put everything together.
Sorry, Shane. I was just
no, good that you told me because then we would have done the wrong role play. That's fine. Thanks for letting me know. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I think the worker is Justin, the client is the smoker, and then obviously Monica is the supervisor.
Yeah, and the client wrote an email of complaint by memory. Like that's
Yeah, so the client wrote the email or gave the feedback to Monica. Monica is giving it to Justin, and Justin and Monica now have to sit down and have the two-way feedback. That's how I understand it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one looks more familiar. Because it's still Monica is your supervisor. That's
yeah.
All right.
So your client is a smoker, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So like it had like a shorter email from Monica.
Okay.
And you had to put in not an incident report, a something report with it as well.
That's the client feedback report.
That's right.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
That looks more like it.
That's good. Yeah, that's fine. It's very similar to the one I did. That's fine. Yeah. So we'll go off this
That's the one that's actually on the assessment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, son.
No, that's fine. That's good. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll clear that up. Any other questions, guys?
So, Cyan, just on that. So, on that client feedback report that Justin has received from Monica. So this is why they're having the meeting to discuss it. But basically, the client has made 4 points. That Justin forgot the names of the client's two brothers was one. He kept asking the client if they felt sad when the client was actually angry. The third one was the client wasn't sure if Justin understands the situation that the client is in, that the client has been through a lot in their life, and they want someone who will be there for them and understand what they're going through. And then the final point was that Justin told the clients that they should not be smoking because it's bad for their health. But the client said, that's my choice. It's not for him to tell me what to do when we're grown up. So I think that's the feedback report is another part of what you were just at showing us there, which is the generalized letter.
Yeah. Let me just quickly read it because I don't want to say yes or no. One sec. Read this quickly. Okay. All right. You know what I'll do? I'll give you guys a 5-minute break and we'll come back and then we'll go through. I just got to read this quickly. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. So let me just read this quickly and I will come back and we'll discuss it then.
Sure. Thanks, Sam.
Okay, all good. I'll give you guys 5 minutes. Okay. So it's much the same from the last one I read. Just the client feedback was different, obviously. So from what I gather, the importance of one sec. So Monica emphasized the importance of empathy for yourself, which will suggest that you may be experiencing emotional exhaustion or stress from handling challenging cases. You may need to develop strategies for managing emotional strain, according to the feedback, such as setting professional boundaries, engaging in supervision or debriefing sessions, or implementing self-care practices. The feedback suggests that there are areas of client engagement or intervention that may need improvement to better support the client's emotional needs. And this may involve adjusting communication styles, offering more tailored interventions, or ensuring the client feels heard or validated. What else was there? This time management and administrative tasks, like the last role play we discussed, same as that. There was emphasis on reflecting without being defensive, suggesting that you need to work on viewing feedback as a growth opportunity rather than criticism. And Monica also highlighted that the feedback that receiving feedback encourages open and collaborative discussion, which indicates a need to engage more actively with team members for support and feedback. So yeah, there's a few areas that you can talk about. You don't have to highlight obviously every single one, but the more the better. Yeah. Okay. You guys got any other questions? Karen.
Does this, it's not actually to do with task one.
So you're just cutting out.
So it doesn't say anywhere in task 2 that you're actually Jason, or Justin or whatever his name was.
Look, that's not,
it's just,
yeah, you're just you. It doesn't. I'll just pretend that you're, when we're doing the role play, that you're Karen and I'll be Monica.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as, if you're doing the role play in your own time, just make sure the person playing Monica is actually playing the role as Monica. Okay. Okay. Tony?
Sorry, can I just ask, with these improvement and challenges and stuff, was that to help with the feedback form? Like the one you have to, it's a feedback form you have to add into the.
You got to complete a two-way feedback template.
Yeah. So that's what
so
you're saying now. That's all I was wondering. Yeah. Thank you.
That's right. Let's open that up. Thanks for that, Tony. Yeah, so here we are. So this is what you will fill out after the meeting. So things I perform well, some examples, feedback from the supervisor, areas of improvement. You don't have to have 3 and 3. Feedback provided to supervisor. So in the end of the meeting, your supervisor in this role play has to ask you for some feedback as well. So you've got to be able to give them feedback as well. So this role play is about how you receive information, or how to receive feedback constructively, and also your ability to give constructive feedback as well. Okay. It doesn't have to be negative. It can be positive. You know, you can say things like, I appreciate you organizing this time for us to meet, to talk about my personal development, my professional development. Also give me a time to reflect on the way I dealt with that client that provided you feedback, and also talking about, what I can do to improve as a professional, and, by highlighting the areas of improvement and what I can do in terms of training and professional development type of things. Okay. All right. Okay, let's have a look at the chat. What we do. Okay. Let's have a look at the other. I think we covered assessment 1 last week. I'll see if there's 4 tasks for this. Let's have a look. There's a project. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so this is where the Justin comes from. Okay. Okay, so this task should be completed after you have completed all of assessment task 3. So this is the last task that you do. You'll complete a personal development plan that outlines and focuses on your personal and professional goals. Use a template provided. Okay, so that's that too. Oh, the personal development plan. Okay, it's pretty straightforward, guys. Okay, so you can only do this after the role play. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, let me see what else we've got to cover with the PowerPoint session. All right, so let's talk a little bit about SMART, which is, most of you guys will have a good idea of what this is. So setting goals is important for career growth, as we've been speaking about during today's session, and it's important for career growth and continuous improvement. However, not all goals are effective, as we all know. So the SMART framework helps create well-defined, realistic, and achievable goals that enhance personal and professional development. So as you can see on the screen, the acronym stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. So when it comes to specific, this is about having clear and well-defined goals, answers what, why, and how. For example, instead of saying, I want to improve my communication skills, you say, I will complete a communication workshop by the end of the month. So it's specific, you know. The next one there is measurable. So this is about defining how progress will be tracked to ensure accountability. Then you have achievable. So the goal should be realistic based on time, resources, and current abilities. So I'm not going to wake up one morning and say I want to play in the NRL by next year. That's never going to happen. Got to be realistic, you know. Something like I want to play for the under 40s by next year. But to do that, I have to start training maybe once a week, 1 hour a week, and learning some key skills in rugby league. Relevant. So the goal should align with personal and professional aspirations. For example, if you aim is career advancement, pursuing some leadership training is more relevant than learning an unrelated skill like, I don't know, something that's not related, like riding a bike or something. And it's got to be time bound as well. So setting deadlines to create a sense of urgency and motivation. So for example, I will complete my first professional certification within 6 months. Okay. Now, the benefits of professional development in career growth include things like career advancement, I guess. So it enhances the skills that make you a strong candidate for promotions and leadership roles. Also increases your confidence. So mastering new skills improves self-assurance and job performance. Okay. Adaptability, so staying up to date with the trends keeps you competitive in the ever-changing job market. And of course, greater job satisfaction. So personal growth leads to a stronger sense of purpose and fulfillment in your role. Okay. So the SMART goals help transform vague aspiration into more clear, actionable steps, more achievable steps. So by setting measurable and time-bound objectives, you create a roadmap for success. Professional development, as we all know, is an ongoing process. So investing in your growth today will set the foundations for the future or your future career achievements. Reflective practice. So reflection, as we've been talking about, is a very powerful tool for improving professional and personal decision making, your performance and personal growth. So by taking time to analyze yourself, by analyzing your past experiences, your strengths and areas of improvement, you'll be able to develop a more thoughtful and effective approach to your work. So reflection is important because it helps you identify, again, your strengths and the areas for improvement. Monica.
I was just going to say, yeah, it also, because I do a lot of writing and stuff as well, it also helps you go back and actually reflect on how you handled a situation to how you handle it now and how much you've grown as a person in positive ways. Excellent. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it enhances your self-awareness and promotes better decision making, like what you're talking about. It encourages continuous learning by analyzing your past experiences, so learning shortfalls, supporting professional growth by fostering adaptability and critical thinking,
Also build confidence in handling challenges and learning from your mistakes. And some methods for reflection, like you stated, journaling. So writing about your daily experiences, your challenges, and the lessons that you've learned. That will help you clarify your thoughts, emotions, and professional insight. Seeking feedback is another method of reflection, like we've been talking about during today's session. So asking colleagues, mentors, or supervisors for constructive feedback. And also reviewing past actions, like we mentioned. And so overcoming challenges in reflecting on your practice and your own practice. So while reflection is very beneficial, many professionals struggle to do it consistently, which is the biggest problem when it comes to giving feedback and reflective practice. Some of the common barriers and ways to overcome them could be the lack of time. So to combat that, we need to schedule short reflection periods, even for 5 or 10 minutes sorry, end of each day. Fear of criticism is another reason why people avoid reflective practice or giving feedback or receiving feedback. So reframing feedback as an opportunity for growth is a way to combat that, not a personal attack. And the other one is uncertainty about what to reflect on. So to combat that, use structured reflection questions such as what worked well, what could have we had done differently, and what will I change moving forward? Tony?
I was just going to say that some people are also biased towards themselves, like they don't actually like to admit they need to, or something could have been better done than their way.
Yeah, so a lot of people, you're right, have this opinion of themselves that they are probably better in some areas than they probably are not. That's probably a defense mechanism as well, to against other people. So it's for all of us to learn how to self-reflect effectively and to really know and be mindful of our performance and our abilities and our areas of improvement. And by doing that, you're gonna improve as an individual professionally, and also you're gonna help increase the performance of the team as well. If you come to realization of your own shortfalls and the areas that you need to improve on ultimately as well. So you're right. That is a challenge that I have, especially in my workplace, where some staff think they are good in some areas which they are definitely not good at. And need to improve on. Yeah. Alona?
But having the bias and criticism, it goes back to their values, isn't it?
It can do, yeah. It can do. Yeah, to be able to receive feedback and to really be able to self-reflect, you need a high degree of integrity and honesty for yourself. Yeah, you gotta be really honest with yourself and to come to realization of what's really happening around you. A lot of people don't have that ability for reasons because personal instinct, isn't it?
Sorry to interrupt, but it's also well, let's admit it, it hits our ego.
Yeah.
And that is sometimes it's hard to admit. And I like saying like, oops, like I failed, but well, I'm doing my best, something like that.
Yeah. Ego is massive, and ego is very common amongst males. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, because I work in a very male dominant workforce, and ego is a very, very tricky thing to combat, and to have honest conversations with people, and if the ego's in the way, it's very hard to have that honest one-on-one talk with them, because we're not being honest. We're not having honest conversations, because they think they are good at something that I clearly know they're not, and we just can't have that two-way feedback, that two-way feedback session, honestly. So it's very difficult. That's why I enjoy working with females, because they're honest, and they when it comes to self-reflection and self-awareness, they're above. When it comes to the male population, they're streaks ahead. So, yeah. Well done, ladies. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, that's it. Okay, so what do we cover today? So just to wrap up, some of the things we covered. So we spoke about development plans, so professional development, how it's an ongoing process that involves goal setting, reflection, and continuous learning. We spoke about the SMART framework in the end, but I do cover this in the recorder session, which will be sent out to you guys tomorrow. We also spoke about structured development plan ensures consistent progress and long-term advancement. We looked at the learning styles in the beginning, briefly looked at them. And like you guys touched on, this is covered more in the learning material for this unit. We looked at self-care and the importance of self-care when it comes to the holistic approach. And we also touched on the role play assessment, which I'll talk about briefly again. So next week, just a reminder to you guys, we'll have our 15 to hour 30-minute session, and then we'll do role plays after that. Again, there is no pressure on anyone to do them next week. That's fine. You can either leave the session or just hang out with the guys and just talk about assessments or topic matters while I'm doing role plays with the guys in the breakout rooms. Okay. Thanks for joining in today. You'll get an email tomorrow, hopefully, with the recorded session and the recorded live session as well, with some links of other YouTube videos that will further enhance your knowledge about this topic we're covering during this time. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed. I'm going to end the recording now. I'll stay back and I'll answer questions if you'd like as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Night.
Good night.